Hello, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, let's take a look at our top stories for tonight. Three persons arrested in connection with the public flogging of two lovers for alleged sexual misconduct. Fix the country conveners remain defiant, plan to mass up at the Achimota Forest for picketing hours after the police denied them permission to embark on scheduled three-day demonstration with armed private security. Rprt Disaster Relief Committee runs out of funds, suspends its free transportation service for school children in the affected area, with fears over key services would soon be cancelled. We'll take you live to the area. And later in business, Ghana's current inflation rate of 23.6%, the highest in a decade, begins to have a negative toll on businesses, especially the banking sector. Welcome to the program. Three persons have been arrested in connection with lovers who were publicly flogged at the forecourt of Wana Palace in Wa for alleged sexual misconduct, seen through a sex tape. The Upper West Regional Police Commander, DCOP Peter Anumbugiri, confirmed the arrest to Metro TV's Upper West Regional Correspondent, Adam Musa. He joins us now for the latest update. Hello, welcome to the show. So who are these persons that have been arrested?
Well, thank you so much. Their names, as we speak, have been withheld for since they are still under investigation. But the Regional Police Commander, DCOP Peter Ndakuri, confirmed the arrest to journalists in town, indicating that the police will not leave anybody who have found culpable with this particular act.
Right.
And in fact, this afternoon, there was a crunch meeting at the Chief Palace. Right after the meeting, then the police regional commander engaged with some chiefs, and together they have started arresting all those linked to this act that happened yesterday at the Chief's Palace.
Right.
So the atmosphere is quite charged regarding to this matter, and a lot of people are saying that the police action, it is in a good direction, and they support what they are going to do to arrest them. And the chiefs are also cooperating with the police service to bring the perpetrator to book. So that's currently what's happening. The three persons are currently in police custody, and they are still searching for other perpetrators to bring them to book.
Right. Stakeholders in WA have been meeting since morning. What were the fallouts from that meeting?
Well, if we look at the information out there, it earlier indicated that the paramount chief of WA, who has instructed them to arrest those engaged in the act, and in fact flogged them at the Chief Palace. So, and earlier we're told that the chief is not aware and has distanced himself from the act. And most people were lamenting that the chief again issued a statement that anybody found or will be punished. And because of that those people decided to punish them. And the chief has also, Palace has also came out with a statement that they were not aware with what happened. So right. Because of this varied information out there, the council decided to meet, deliberate on the matter, and find a way that can settle the whole matter.
Right.
First of all, they identified that those who have engaged must be brought to book, and then they will finally find a way to settle this whole issue in WA.
Right. What about the victims? How are they doing? How are they surviving?
Well, most of them, we are told, were not quite feeling well because of how they were treated, and they've been indoors with receiving some self-medications, we are told. Though others said what happened to them is unwarranted, but to them, they are not feeling well. They have been indoors, and it's a shame to them, and they feel victimized if they even come out now. People start pointing fingers at them. It was these people that they flog at the Chief Palace. In a way, the victims are not quite happy with what happened, and they feel that they wouldn't be able to move around comfortable. So
Right.
it is another source of worry to them.
Adams Musa, thank you very much for speaking to us tonight. Let's just stay on this story as the Ghana Bar Association says the flogging of young persons seen in the alleged WA sex tape is antiquated, backward, barbaric, and abnormal. According to the GBA, the relevant security agencies must arrest all persons involved in the physical abuse of these young people.
The Ghana Bar Association says its attention was drawn to the video in which two young persons were tied to poles and flogged in the presence of onlookers. The association says the narrative accompanying the video, the two were being punished for allegedly indulging in sexual acts and recording the said acts on video. The Ghana Bar Association therefore says the flogging of the two young persons is humiliating, dehumanizing, demeaning, and degrading, and amounts to the violation of their fundamental human rights. It is also an attack on their persons. The association says the barbaric act contravenes Articles 1, 2, and 15, 1, 2A and B of the Constitution 1992, which provides too that every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place of origin, political opinion, color, religion, creed, or gender, shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual contained in this chapter, but subject to respect for the rights and freedoms of others and for the public interests. 15.1. The dignity of all persons shall be inviolable. 2. No person shall, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishments. B. Any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. The association therefore asks the relevant security agencies to arrest all persons involved in the physical abuse of the two young persons. The Ghana Bar Association advised the public not to take the law into their hands by meting out punishment to people they suspect to have contravened the law or have broken any moral codes of any community.
Right. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for WA Central, Rashid Pelpol, has told Metro News that his office is working closely with the WA Traditional Council to unravel the circumstances which led to the flogging of two lovers over a leaked sex video. Newsnight here on Metro Television. Now, the office of the Wana has assured the MP that investigations are going to continue. You can join the conversation on social media. We're live on DSTV channel 277 as well. Let's take you to Parliament now, where Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee has recommended the payment of monetary compensation to victims of military brutalities in the Upper West regional capital of WA last year. During the presentation of its report to the House after months of investigations, the committee, among other things, urged government to take steps to improve civilian-military relations in the region.
The committee is of the firm belief and view that the victims of the military brutality be compensated by the state. This is important because, Mr. Speaker, the victims suffered various degrees of injuries and must have spent their own money to settle their medical bills. In fact, when we arrived in WA, it was clear the Minister for Defense did his part. He paid the initial medical bills of the victims. But that wasn't enough. And so the committee members had to make contributions from our own resources to support some of the victims. And so, Mr. Speaker, if your committee took these initiatives to at least assuage the pain that the victims went through, it is important that the state does something, and very promptly.
For once, this august house should never be seen as a talking shop. We should follow through with the disciplinary measures that will be meted out to these wayward police. This august house should never rest until we see punishment visited upon these wayward soldiers. And that will give us that a good reason that in this country, when people go wayward, for whatever reason, they are disciplined. So the promotion of lawlessness sometimes finds face in the fact that the people who are lawless, they go scot-free. So, Rprt Speaker, this important report of your committee is not for entertainment value. It is supposed to be followed through and to see that those who are wayward were punished.
Let's to stay in the august house as Member of Parliament for Wa Central, Rashid Pelpo, has told Metro News that his office is working closely with the Wa Traditional Council to unravel the circumstances which led to the flogging of 2 lovers over a 6th tape.
3, 4, 5, 6.
So how did you feel as a Member of Parliament for the youth?
As soon as I saw the video, the logical thing for me to do was to call the palace and to find out exactly what happened. I was told that the Wana was not at the palace, and the person I called was his secretary. And he told me that when it happened, he was not within the palace. So he was called and shown a video, so he also had to rush to the palace. He could not identify the people who did what they did, and so they are investigating it, and I'm very sure when they have come out with the fullness of investigation, they will definitely tell the press. But it does look like this is something that had not been predetermined. I wasn't there when it happened. Right. The secretary who was supposed to give me full information about it was not present, and they have told me they will investigate it, and once they investigate it, we will get a full story, and if there's any blame to be made, if there's any legal action to be taken, it will be based on the facts that would have come out. But at the moment, it will be difficult for me to descend into the matter in any form.
Let's to stay in Parliament as Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has told Parliament his outfit is working with the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice for a review of the Rent Act and the Rent Control Law 1986 to provide a comprehensive framework in retooling the Rent Control Department to enable it function effectively.
As I heard the Minister, the law provides that rent payable shall not exceed 6 months. But in practice, we know that landlords demand rent in advance of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What steps is the Minister taking to enforce the Rent Act? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It has become necessary, in the light of what is happening, to review the Rent Act. And that's one of the main reasons why we are taking the necessary steps to review the Rent Act. At this stage, we are working with the Attorney General and also receiving proposals from all stakeholders. So if the Honourable Minority Leader has any suggestions at this stage, it will be very much welcome so that we can have a very up-to-date rent law that can stand the test of time.
Away from Parliament, the Fix the Country movement says it will embark on their demonstration despite the police insisting a 3-day scheduled protest should be reduced to a day. The group had earlier written to the police service to embark on a 3-day demonstration in Accra.
The news conference organized by the Fix the Country movement was intended to highlight what the group calls undemocratic behavior of the police and some security agencies. According to the movement, police intimidation and brutalities leading to the death of some individuals can be prevented should some interventions be made by the appropriate authorities.
Despite the incidences of extrajudicial killings, including situations where military personnel have been found by commissions of inquiry to have essentially used civilians for target practice, we continue to see politicians deploy the military into our communities.
The convener of the movement insisted the police should be held responsible for their actions, which have led to the death of some persons while in attempt to control crowd.
How did they wind up dead? You know, all this language that we do not want to directly, call the police accountable, all those things excuse violence and we become targets of it. The police have not learned the language of self-regulating, of knowing that there are repercussions for their conduct, because there are none.
Speaking on how the police have successfully halted their intended demonstration, a member of the Fix the Country movement hinted they will not stop their protest.
The time has come for us to preserve yet the next generation's wealth.
The time has come for us to preserve the next generation's wealth. We cannot sit there to allow any group or family who thinks they want to lead this country but intend capturing the country. For 3 days, we will go to the Achimota forest and form a human barricade to register our displeasure on the recapitalization of the forest reserve. We want it to be on record that at some point in time, the youth of the nation stood to the defense of state capturing as seen presently. The protest at the Achimota forest is scheduled for Friday, June 10, 2022.
And let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined via Zoom by Okatechie Efifa Mensah, convener of the Fix the Country movement. Okatechie, welcome to the show. Can you confirm if indeed you indicated that you would seek a private security to protect you and be armed on your intended demonstration?
All right, good evening, my fellow comrade. I believe so strongly the conversation is neither wanting to contract private security for our own protection, but it's about the fact that we do not trust the police to give us the kind of security that we need. The police over the years have demonstrated that they are using the power of the people to abuse the people. Some level of brutish mentality where the Ghana police force thinks that the way to do crowd control is to met out brutish force to the extent of killing certain people. So we felt that, yes, we couldn't trust the Ghana police force that killed people in Nigeria for protesting. We couldn't trust Ghana police force that killed people in Kranza for protesting. We couldn't trust. So we had to get our own personal security. But if the Ghana police from their press release is saying that they will protect us and they won't kill us like they did to people in Kranza and they did to people in Nigeria, then I don't think there is any conversation on the table when it comes to security and its matters. In any case, we have a president of the country who is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. But till today, as I speak to you, the president is being protected by his own private security in the likes of Jibril and the rest. So what is the news if certain protesters believe that they cannot trust the police, and for that matter, they want to use their own security to protect themselves? What is the news? We were in this country when the current president, when he was in opposition, then opposition leader, brought people from South Africa, mercenaries, and told the whole world that he does not trust the Ghana police service. So he is using certain security to protect his people and the party in opposition. Right. The party that formed the Kandahar Boys, the Bolga Bulldog, all these vigilante groups to protect themselves when they were in opposition, they cannot come to government and all of a sudden begin to have a problem when a certain group of people think that they want to have a private security when they are going on demonstration. So I think we can put that at the back burner and look at the relevant issues that we stated in our release to the police that we want to embark on a demonstration with.
Right. Okay, TJ, let me come in here, but you cannot compare private security protecting people to private security protecting demonstrators, can you?
But demonstrators are human beings equally as Nana Akufo-Addo was using mercenaries to protect himself when he was in opposition. Are demonstrators not Ghanaians?
But that is different, isn't it? Demonstration is demonstration. It's different from being protected while you're at home.
And I'm not talking about while you are at home. I'm talking about the fact that we've such in this country for a political party to form all manner of vigilante groups to protect themselves openly. We've had vigilante groups in this country that could walk up to court and probably even sack judges. We've had vigilante groups, and these are the people leading this country, so they shouldn't have any problem when we are saying that we don't trust the Ghana police, and for that matter, we are going to contract private security. And like I've said, if the police is now telling the whole world that they have what it takes to protect the people, they have what it takes to protect the demonstrators, then we don't have any conversation at all.
Right.
Because our problem was alerting the public that the police that is supposed to protect us at some point is turning the guns on us and killing us.
Right.
So if they are saying they are going to protect us, I think we can put this at the back burner and move on.
Right. The police is also saying that you should reduce your duration from 3 days to a day. How about that? Will you comply with it?
Under no circumstance does the police has what it takes, the powers, the laws of this nation to tell demonstrators how many days, hours to spend on the street. We were in this country when we had that yellow demonstrations in France. It took more than 3 months. Hong Kong, it took more than 6 months for demonstration. And SARS demonstration in Nigeria took about a week to 2 weeks. So how can the police tell us that, okay, you are going for demonstration for 3 days, but we cannot allow you to go for demonstration for 3 days? Now, the same police who is saying that they do not have what it takes to protect us for 3 days, they have a problem when we say that after protecting us for 1 day, we will contract our own private security to protect the people for the rest of the days. Right. This is a bit contradictory of a position. Right. One, you are saying that you do not have what it takes to protect us for 3 days. And we are saying when you are done protecting us for a day, we want the private security to protect us for the rest of the days. And you say you have a problem with it. Right. I mean, I cannot fathom, I cannot understand what is going on.
Did you also indicate that at some point during the demonstration, you would demand to address the nation at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation?
The key word there wasn't address. If there was anything called address, I'm not too privy to that. What we said was that the media is the point of call for anybody that has any disgruntled disaffection in the country. Just as Metro TV, I could walk up to Metro TV and tell you guys that I have this problem, that problem, this problem. So please air it or let me have a voice. We believe that GBC is the voice of the nation. And if we have grievances to share with the majority of the people in this country, we can walk to GBC and ask them, and ask the GBC to give us an airtime to voice out our grievances to the people. What is wrong with that? I don't see any fracas here.
Right. People say that these things have characteristics of a coup. Usually when military officers take over, they take to the state broadcaster to make an announcement. So why would you take that stance to go to the state broadcaster and air your views?
They must see us some level of high-class stupid people that we want to cause mayhem. We want to actually destabilize the country. We want to cause a coup. But we will write to the police and say, the police, we are going to cause a coup on this set date. And for that matter, come and protect us to go and cause a coup. I mean, you know, this is an old Machiavellian tactics that the police is using, trying to create disaffection between the leadership of the movement and the people themselves. We can see through the line, so we are not going to fall for it. Nobody is going to destabilize this country. We are only saying that this fake system we've created as a democracy thrives on 4 pillars. One, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, then unconventionally the media. So if we are telling them that gradually the system is failing, we have to make approach to the parliament, to the judiciary, to the presidency, and the media as well. And the mother of all the media houses is GBC. So it's not any ill intent act. It's not based on any malafide.
And finally,
these are well thought through acts where we want air to speak to the Ghanaian people. That's all.
Right. So finally, can you clarify to us that indeed now you're going to let the police offer protection during your demonstration?
So long as they give us their word that they are not going to shoot us like they did to people who were protesting in various parts of the country, why not? Okay. All we seek to do, my brother, is to protect this country from states capturing, is to protect the people and the next generation from their resources being depleted by a certain selfish family that has used manipulative means to get to the reins of power of this country. We don't seek to destabilize this country.
Right.
All we seek to do is that we cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. That is all.
Right. You indicated that you're going to picket around the Achimota forest. Is this an indication that you have abandoned your earlier plan of demonstrating on the streets?
You see, they are used to demonstration where people actually behave like they are going for keep fit. We go from morning till, let's say, 3, 4, then we go back home. Then everybody stop talking about it. Now, this time around, we want to symbolize that we are no longer going to take any situation where people, we've given them power to serve the interest of the people. We use the same power to siphon money and the resources of the people.
Okay.
So we are going to be at Achimota, forming a human barricade, protecting the Achimota forest as a sign and a symbol that we are no longer going to take a situation where misleaders of the country will appropriate to themselves the resources of the people without any accountability.
Right.
I.e. Japadiu, i.e. Ilabi, i.e. all these things that impoverish the people. We want to use the barricading of the Achimota forest as a symbol of protecting the resources of this current generation and the next generation.
Okatechie Frifa, thank you very much for speaking to us tonight. He's a convener with the Fix the Country movement. You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be back with more. Hello again. The Rprt Disaster Relief Committee has revealed it has run out of funds. The situation has compelled it to terminate a contract that provides transportation of school children in the Rprt community. There are fears other relief services rendered by the committee could soon come to an end.
The decision to end the free transportation support scheme for pupils of Rprt took effect Monday, 31st May 2022. According
So let's have a conversation with the PRO of the Rprt Committee. Welcome to the show. So help us understand how you say that you have no more funds to support the transportation of school children and other support you render to the community.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Hello.
Yes, please carry on. Did you hear my question?
Yes, partially, sir. If you can come again, sir.
Again?
Can you come again with the question, sir?
Right, I'm asking, help us understand how you say that you have run out of funds even to support the transportation of school children and also provide other support.
Yes, it's so because we still have a couple of injured persons who are supposed to be visiting the hospitals back on review. Some have their limbs not fully healed, others with some foreign material believed to be metal parts of the exploded vehicle in their bodies and stuff. So we actually still have a lot of medical issues to attend to. Now, reason why we decided to take on a back to be conveying the school children to school was that there was this phenomenon of people hearing loud sounds, bangs and stuff, and start to be probably panicking and stuff. People have to take to their heels when they hear loud noises. For example, there was one instance where an articulated truck blasted a tire, which had the whole community running into hiding. So the committee felt that if the school children have to be using the same community, the raised down community of Rprt to schools in the then probably that psychological trauma of seeing their community down and stuff would have a toll on them, most especially when they are in class. So we decided to convey them with the school buses. Initially, all of them were moved from the schools in Befort to Bogosu schools so that they would not be seeing the community. Unfortunately, some of them had to still go back to their schools for reasons best known to them.
Right.
Now it has been 4 months into the disaster, and the committee feels that there are other pressing needs of injured persons that we have to attend to. And this busing thing was not sustainable because at the end of every month, you are supposed to pay 10,000 to the GPRTU for the conveyance. And it was becoming an issue for the committee, most especially when there were issues of funds not coming in. So we had to cut costs so that we can have enough to take care of the injured persons, which are the most immediate beneficiaries of the disaster committee. So that is what informed the decision.
Okay. Daiwo, let me come in here. A lot of people have accused you for misappropriating the funds, not putting it to good use. For example, they say that it was not necessary to actually be busing students every day, and you have indeed confirmed that when it became critical, you had to cut it down. Don't you think this should have been something you should have done earlier?
Where the misappropriation means what? Like it was not necessary for us to be conveying the children to school?
Yes. They say that you should have attended to other pressing needs like taking care of the sick and all that instead of transporting the school children to school, although you have explained the reasons behind that.
Well, people have their says always. No matter what you do, there's always someone who has a different view of it. But at the heat of the explosion and the matters thereafter, if you were in our shoes, you were definitely going to probably hire a helicopter to be flying the kids to school. So that is it. Most especially when someone is at the comfort of his home, not close to the issues as it were, would accuse us of not taking the right decisions. But at that moment, probably that was the best we could have done.
Right. Also, what is the way forward now?
The way forward is that our attention is now being shifted to those who are still in critical conditions. By Monday, we should be getting about 3 people to Biaya Nkwanta Hospital. They have bone issues. 3 of them have their left limbs off. We are trying if the orthopedic people can fix them. From the 20th of January up to today, they are not able to walk. We are shifting attention to them now so we can see if they can have their limbs back and other health issues, which are very pressing up till now. But with the issues of people getting their boys to school, before the explosion, there were means of transporting children to school.
Okay,
we only provided a relief service.
I'm afraid for the sake of time, we will have to end the conversation here. But thank you very much for speaking to us tonight. Away from that, the trial of James Jachikwason, the embattled MP for Asin North, is expected to start in July. This follows dismissal of his application to strike 3 of the 5 charges against him. Jachikwason will therefore face 5 charges when the trial starts in July.
James Jachikwason, the embattled member of parliament for Asin North, is facing charges of deceit of public officer, forgery of travel documents, knowingly making false statutory declarations, perjury, and false declaration for office prior to the 2020 elections. Lead counsel for Jachikwason, lawyer Chachuchi Kata, told the court that count 3, 4, and 5 are related to Article 94(2) of the Constitution, hence required an interpretation by the apex courts. But the Attorney General, however, objected the application. Senior State Prosecutor Dorcas Fairley argued that the application by the accused person was a clear attempt to waste the time of the courts. Presiding Judge Justice Mary Mamieku and Senchire, after listening to both divides, dismissed the application and called for prosecution to provide its witness for trial. The case is adjourned to July 12 for trials to begin.
Metro TV would like to apologize to the Osumanche Tetete Ninote Owuo IV and the chiefs and elders of Osu in Accra for a video on our social media platform which tended to degenerate the Osumanche and its people by the head of the Ni Odoikwa family of Osu. Metro TV accepts full responsibility for what happened. The said video has been pulled down on social media. Metro TV again renders an unqualified apology to the Osumanche and the people of Osu. Metro TV assures the people of Osu and all our cherished viewers that we will continue to ensure professionalism in all that we do. You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. You're welcome back. Business News is next. In business tonight, the chief executive of Consolidated Bank, Daniel Addo, says Ghana's current inflation rate of 23.6, the highest in a decade, is impacting negatively on businesses, especially the banking sector.
The 23.6% inflation rate is the highest Ghana has recorded in more than a decade. The situation, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, Daniel Addo, is affecting borrowing and subsequently crippling businesses. He said financial institutions in the country particularly are bearing the brunt of the inflation, which he said must be reduced.
No, the way forward is very simple. Inflation has to be tamed and has to be brought down. Inflation is a silent killer. It's the armed robber that comes without a gun. You know, in an inflationary situation, your money loses very, very quickly. And so, inflation must be tamed. And I think that the moves that the right central bank has taken over the last couple of months are in the right direction. There's no quarrel about that at all. They're doing what has to be done to tame inflation, and that's the way to go.
He said although the banking sector has been better through the government's sensitization drive, more is needed to sustain the gains made, especially in the areas of liquidity crisis management.
The financial system is in much better shape than it was 4 years ago. Capital adequacy within the financial system is very high. Non-performing loans have moderated, and so the solvency within the system is very good. Now, for financial institutions that are suffering, obviously they have to rework their way back to a solid position. And like I've said before, liquidity is always a key thing, and so you need to ensure that your asset liability management is best in class. You're on top of that. Right, you need to ensure that you're watching the kind of exposures you're taking on the balance sheet, and most importantly, you need to watch your governance risk and controls to ensure that you don't get caught in a situation where you have a liquidity crisis.
The Spotlight series by the University of Professional Studies Accra periodically assembles best excelling alumni to hold interactive impartation seminars for the continuing students of the institute. This is geared towards propelling them for the job market. The latest section of the series was themed Looking Forward Backward, Leading in a Volatile, Uncertain, Complex and Ambiguous World.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has been addressing the West African Mining and Power Conference. Let's listen to him.
We should also hasten the development of the capacity to interact with the world's natural resources banks, fund managers, and leading stock exchanges. In this regard, let me sound a clarion call on the big mining companies operating here in Ghana, and indeed in the West African sub-region, to work towards the emergence of a mining index on our stock exchanges and thereby accelerate their growth and significance in African mining. This will require deep collaboration among the local stock exchanges, the Ghana Stock Exchange in Ghana or the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and so on. They are regulators in the Ghana Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as mining firms, to incentivize Ghanaians to own listed greenfield exploration projects, as the upside on such investments tend to be higher. Over the years, developments in our mining sector indicate that the prerequisites for success are discernible. For instance, small-scale mining, which was initially unappreciated by many, is steadily picking itself up and is increasingly becoming an important segment of the mining industry, accounting for about 30% of total national gold production in the last few years. In the small-scale mining subsector, government has taken critical steps towards the achievement of a steady progress, particularly through the introduction of the community mining scheme. Mr. Chairman, it is amazing that whenever one considers
the second Imani Fiscal Recklessness Index 2020 has provided information on rankings of financial irregularities for ministries, departments, and agencies between 2015 to 2020. Let's go to our video wall and show you the top 5 ministries who, according to Imani Ghana, are the biggest culprits of financial irregularities in the country. So these are the most fiscally reckless institutions in the country. These institutions, according to Imani Ghana, have recklessly cost the country billions of Ghana cedis. Here they are in descending order. Number 1 is the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning and its agencies. Number 2 is the Ministry of Health. Number 3 is the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Number 4 is the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. Number 5 is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. We're back from the break with the latest in sports. Stay tuned.
My name is Esiedua Akumia. The official launch of the 5th anniversary of Ghana Outstanding Women Awards took place on June 1 at the Airport View Hotel in Accra. The nominations for the various categories are officially open. Here are some highlights.
Ghana Outstanding Women Awards, abbreviated GOA, has for the past 4 years recognized and celebrated the massive contributions some women have put in the fields they find themselves in. 2022 marks 5 years of its existence. On June 1st, at the Airport View Hotel, was the official launch of GOA at 5. The event was graced with the presence of Ohineri Giftianti, Dr. Charity Chumisi, Ekumama Mazimbi, and many others. GOA is powered by Ascoff Productions, and the CEO exclusively told Metro News what to expect at the main event and hinted on some new categories that have been added this year.
GOA at 5 is so packed. We have ex-women symposium solely meant for women into philanthropy, charity and humanitarian projects. It's the first of its kind. And we have Girls Connect concert, an all-female concert for up and coming female artists. Nominations are officially opened. We have categories such as Outstanding Woman in Health, Education, TV Personality, Young Entrepreneur, Woman in Oil and Gas, Innovation and Invention. And we've introduced a new category for the WUCOMs in the universities because they handle a lot of women and they have empowerment programs. So we have categories for them. If you know any, how do they call it? WUCOM, like tertiary institutions, female leaders and all that. Yeah, you can nominate them as well.
Well, away from that, the National Theatre and the United States Embassy, in collaboration with the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs of the U.S., have started a 4-day workshop to empower young Ghanaians in the creative space. My colleague Desmond Okwekudanso was there for day 2 of the workshop and has come through with this report.
The workshop being held at the National Theatre is under the auspices of Next Level, an international music and cultural exchange program which runs in several countries in the world. The workshop included trainings on dance, beat making, graffiti art, rapping and emceeing, and saw several young creatives participate in the various activities.
I hatched out the egg, and who's gotta say I come by some enough bread? Blue boys all around, I know they make you feel safe, but it's vice versa in here, just add a little pace.
The workshop trainers spoke to Metro News about the training so far.
It's been great. This is my second time to Ghana. I'm very happy to be back. I'm just creating space for people to come and bring what they already have and what they already are yearning to express, and I'm just making space for that.
So I'm here to basically share what I've learned about hip-hop and street dance culture. I've been dancing for a long time. I've been dancing my whole life in the United States. I've learned a lot from the masters there about hip-hop and all kinds of different street dances like popping, locking, house, breaking. And now I'm here to share a little bit of what I've learned and, of course, to learn from the students as well.
It's been really great to just work with all of the upcoming artists in Accra, and I'm just very happy to be making beats with everyone. I love making beats. I've been making beats since I was 15 years old, and so it's just a pleasure to continue doing that and to bring it all around the world, especially here to Ghana.
So far it's been great. The students have been really receptive. There's a lot of talented young artists in Accra, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with these skills.
Some participants also spoke to Metro News about their experience.
I want to boost my confidence on the stage and also to, showcase my talent to my community. So that's why I joined.
And the reason why I'm part of this section is probably for me to learn more. Because when I came here in the first place, I thought what I was doing, that was it. But when I came, I got to know, no, there is more to what we have been doing.
The workshop is expected to continue through to Friday, 3rd June 2022.
That's it for entertainment news. My name is Isiedua Akumia. Kenneth?
Thank you, Isiedua. International news is next. A report of 3,000 travelers in South Africa have been left stranded after the Comair airline abruptly suspended all its flights with immediate effect. The airline announced the suspension on Tuesday evening. That's all time will allow for this edition of Newsnight. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, have a good night.